Okay, so in chapter one, we have the five domains of psychology. They are biological, cognitive, developmental, social and personality, and mental and physical health. So these are what they all mean. Biological is how does your activity in your brain and body give rise to your thoughts, feelings, and actions? Cognitive is how do your mental activities affect your thoughts, feelings, and actions? Developmental is how do you change over your life from birth through old age in terms of how your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Social and personality is how do social factors and your personal characteristics impact your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Mental and physical health is what affects your mental and physical health and how can you develop healthy behaviors. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the scientific method. It is a procedure of observing and measuring a phenomenon, which are observable things, to answer questions about what happens when it happens, what causes it, and why. This process involves a dynamic interaction between theories, hypotheses, and research methods. So the scientific method has four goals. It is to describe what happens, predict when it happens, controlling what causes it to happen, and explaining why it happens. Okay, so here are the five steps in scientific method. So step number one is to formulate the theory. Step number two is to develop a testable hypothesis. Step three is to test with a research method. Step four is to analyze the data. Step five is to share the results and conduct more research. Alright, so these are the type of research methods. First, we have the descriptive method, which is describing what is occurring. And in descriptive methods, we have case studies, observational studies, and self-reports. And case studies are more in depth. Observational studies are just like looking at a person. Self-reports are your own thoughts. We also have correlational methods, which is the relationship between variables, so two or more. And then we have experimental methods, which is investigating what causes an outcome. Alright, in chapter 3, we have automatic processing and controlled processing. So, automatic processing is fast and doesn't require a lot of mental resources. So, an example I used for automatic processing that I relate to is whenever I'm driving home from school or like driving to my old high school, like I just know it because I'm always doing it, and it's not like I have to think about it like, okay, I turn right here or I turn left here. So, it's usually just like I know where to go. And then control processing is slow and requires more mental resources. I'm kind of using the same example it has on the slide where like when it's raining you have to like really focus and make sure you can see the road and stuff like that. So yeah. Now I'm talking about sleep disorders that are common throughout life, and we have insomnia, which is characterized by a repeated inability to sleep. It's mostly seen in women, and changing your habits can be helpful when dealing with insomnia. Another one is sleep apnea. It's when a person stops breathing because their throat closes. The condition results in frequent awakenings during the night. And then we have narcolepsy, is when a person experiences excessive sleepiness during normal waking hours, sometimes going limp and collapsing. And now we have REM behavior disorder and sleepwalking. So, REM behavior disorder is roughly the opposite of narcolepsy. Those with the disorder act out in their dreams while sleeping, and sleepwalking is, self explanatory. Okay, and so now we have how can you develop better sleeping habits? So, establish a routine to help your biological clock. Avoid alcohol and caffeine in the evening. Avoid electronic devices late at night. Exercise regularly. Allow the mind to associate bed with sleeping. Relax, get up, and let bygones be bygones. And now we have the four classes of psychoactive drugs. Um, we have stimulants. An example of the drug is cocaine, nicotine, and caffeine. And what it does, it increases your behavior and mental activity. And in the neurotransmitter system, it touches your dopamine. Next, we have depressants, which are anti-anxiety drugs and alcohol. This decreases behavior and mental activity. Opioids are like heroin and morphine, which reduces pain and brings pleasure. And then we have hallucinogens. I don't know how to say it. And like LSD, mushrooms, and this changes perception, thoughts, and emotions. It also increases behavior and mental activity. Cannabis may also increase or decrease behavior and mental activity. So it's kind of like depressants and stimulants. It's kind of like all of them, but yeah. In chapter 4, we talk about different attachment styles. There is secure attachment, avoidant attachment, and ambivalent attachment. So, for secure attachment is when a secure child is distressed when the mom leaves. The child is also quickly comforted when the mom returns. An avoidant attachment is when an avoidant child is not distressed when the mom leaves. The child also avoids the mom when the mom returns. An ambivalent attachment style is when an ambivalent child is always upset when the mom leaves. The child will also both seek and reject caring contact when the mom returns. We also talk about Pidgeot's theory of cognitive development. The developmental psychologist Jen Pidgeot investigated how children thinking changes as they develop. Pidgeot proposed that we change how we think as we form new schemas or ways of thinking about how the world works. So in Pidgeot's theory of cognitive development, there is assimilation and accommodation. So, assimilation is the process we use to incorporate new information into existing frameworks for knowledge. Accommodation is the process we use to create new frameworks for knowledge or drastically alter existing ones to incorporate new information that otherwise would not fit. So, assimilation and accommodation, here's a learning tip that really helped me. So, assimilation is attempt to add new information to the schema of birds. So birds have wings, birds fly. So shouldn't a butterfly also be a bird because it has wings and it flies? But if you add the accommodation of birds to include new information that correctly excludes butterflies from the schema. So birds have wings, birds fly, and birds have beaks. So now a butterfly cannot be a bird because a butterfly doesn't have a beak. So the accommodation to flying animals is they have wings, they fly, but they do not have beaks for the butterfly. So now we have another theory. This is Kohlberg's stage of moral development. So in level 1, it is pre-conventional morality. And in stage 1, you have obedience and punishment, and you want to avoid punishment. In stage 2, it is self-interest, so you seek rewards. And level 2 is conventional morality. In stage 3, good interpersonal relationships, being good for to gain approval from others. Stage 4 is law and order, so following the social rules. And then for level 3, it's post-conventional morality. In stage 5, we have social contract. And in stage 6, we have universal principles. So now we have Erikson's theory in later life. So he has intimacy versus isolation. So this would be the 6th stage. It is young adults face the challenging of forming committed long-term friendships and romances. And then generativity versus stagnation. This is the 7th stage. Middle-aged adults face the challenge of leaving behind a positive legacy and caring for future generations. Then we have the integrity versus despair. This is the 8th stage. Older adults face the challenge of feeling satisfied that they have lived a good life and developed wisdom.